What's up? Pick Central Friday, March 1st. Fitting to be here on a Friday, March 1st. We had to wait an extra day, but we got here. Very, very exciting month, as always. For my money, the best there is. You got just a little bit of a different buzz now. I think Saturday is going to be chaotic. A lot of top 25 matchups, including game day at Alabama. Obviously, Tennessee is as good as they come, so that game is marquee. Is that next? Dukes, do we get to Carolina this Saturday or next Saturday? Next Saturday, correct?
I think it's next
Saturday.
I feel like it ends the season with them.
Yep.
What? I'll die.
Yep, I'm right.
I'll die on that hill. Not a lot of buzz on Duke Carolina still, right?
I mean, it's not. There's not a lot of buzz. It's just you're getting older.
Yeah, but I think the coach is changing, and
I think there's actually more. I think that I was saying this. I feel like with the change of the era, I think even Big Cat said, like, I don't hate Duke as much as I should have anymore. Like, and people last year even Filipowski's not hateable.
Yeah, I don't root for
I
Duke
think
as
that
much as I did
fucking no.
before,
I think
too,
that
yeah.
I think that fucking that court storming shit is gonna make Duke just as hateable as it were. I think that like anybody that was like on the fence, like, do I still hate them? Hates them again.
Yeah, I just think the ACC is not as good. So like Duke and Carolina, that product of like them being top, it just. They're good, and they're in that discussion, but I just feel like they're an afterthought, which is a weird thing to say. You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of storylines this year, so when Duke and Carolina are both like top 12, top 10, you would think that it would be a bigger storyline. I feel like they're kind of buried in the news to a degree.
I kind of disagree. I mean, I think Carolina, for my money, is one of the best teams in the country.
I don't think the both of them they're getting the attention they should this year because of how bad the ACC is.
I think UNC.
I also don't know if they have like the start. Like RJ Davis is great and Philip Cat. I don't think Duke has like the marketable star to a degree.
But like Jared McCain is like on TikTok is one of the most popping people on TikTok.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's as marketable as it gets.
That's fair.
Pretty sure in NIL terms he's like number 4 in the country.
Yeah, that's fair. So we'll take calls.
Baycott.
Yeah, it's just me today. We love Baycott. Met his mom in New Orleans. Nice lady. Got us the interview outside the hotel. So we'll take the calls today if you want. I did want to start on this. Kind of a slow night in college last night, so I had the Knicks on with the audio on the big TV. I was so happy that I had that audio. Did you guys see this clip?
I don't think so.
All right, they end the game with the Knicks, and they're talking a little bit about it. And then Kenny Smith goes to Charles Barkley at the end. He's like, hey, Charles, did I hear this right? You on Instagram? They find out Barkley's on Instagram. They start breaking his balls about being on Instagram. He's like, I thought like social media was for losers, this and that. They trick him a little bit, or they warn him. They're like, Charles, just be careful. We can see what you like. So if he liked images, they were going to – I could already see that group chat, like, firing away. Be like, look at what he liked. The screenshot. Like, look at this. Look at this. So those guys – and Kenny Smith, I read his book. I was very impressed with the sense that they don't just say, like, all right, you took side A, I'll take side B, and then go from there. Like, and you know, it's inorganic. They very much, if you say something and they agree, they go with it. If you disagree, they go with it. But some of the best ball breaking, some of the best, like, info in terms of sports. I think the best probably studio show going.
Well,
and it's a shame. What?
What Shaq said.
Well, yeah, I wanted to, so the hammer shot at the end, though, is Shaq going, hey, Charles, when you put a photo, you have to put hashtag OnlyFans. And Chuck being so oblivious that he's like, is that only for my fans? Like, so it's for my fans only? And Kenny Smith, like, he gave it up right away. He's like, Charles, don't do that. Don't do that. But the fact that I had the audio, like, listen, you got to be locked into. You should watch that show more because those guys are the best. And you wonder why. I guess it can't work for all sports, you know? And there needs to be games going on to fill it. So, like, the NFL can't have it during the week. But what would be almost the dream setup of that during the week? Maybe they ran if they ran highlights during the week, but we've already seen that, or they did previews of the matchup. But like that ball busting, but also informative show
for a different sport.
Yeah, NFL. I mean,
I'd say like something probably like.
I think baseball's got a good one, Phil, with Harold Reynolds.
I disagree on that. I've never been a Harold Reynolds guy.
I kind of like him, but they don't have the ball breaking type thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like there's a good show like that out there with like probably like Paul Bissonnette, like Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, those guys are good too, obviously.
No,
okay.
I was joking. I was like,
I'm not locked into hockey here, and you know what I mean.
I know
couldn't
you're
even
not.
tell you when that's on.
I was busting your balls on that because TNT I think just does a great job.
They're
like,
doing the right thing,
Yeah.
for sure. That one slipped my mind, but like they're doing the right thing. But what, like, could you make that work in the NFL, or the NFL is a little too stuffed shirt? Because there's like
NFL
I
has
see
red
the
zone.
guys like Fitzpatrick and those guys when they do that stuff it's too many voices. Like what I like about this is that they have a long period of time in between to fill. It's not just give us your 30-second take and go away.
I mean,
what would work for the NFL?
Well, NFL, like Duke said, I don't think I've watched an NFL like halftime report in forever just because
Right.
Red Zone exists. The only one that I watch is whether it's ESPN, Monday Night Football, or NBC, or the Amazon. Even Amazon, I kind of like zone out at halftime.
I like the Amazon guys. I also think that Good Morning Football. I know it's like not like
That's Schrager, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Schrager show. Who's the other guy on that? I can't think of his
Nate
name.
Burleson?
No.
All right, I'm not.
The guy from the Giants, I feel like, the lineman.
No.
Wasn't he on
I
that
don't think he was a
once?
football guy. I don't think he was a player, but I think that crew over there is pretty solid. That's like one of my favorite football shows during the season.
Yeah. But they're still doing like the informative news breaks and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think TNT has their finger on the pulse with this.
Yeah, I think
And
they're a
these
little
guys are
wacky.
What?
I think they're a little wacky.
But they know the thing that backs it up is they know ball. You know what I mean? Like that's why you do.
TNT?
The guys on TNT, you don't think so?
I don't think Shaq watches games. He didn't know who, like, a couple years ago, who Christian Wood was.
Well, in fairness, Christian Wood kind of is awful now. So.
Yeah, but I'm just like, do you not like Shaq? I think gets ripped on for not watching games. I think Kenny and like that's the funniest thing about what you're getting at is I think Ernie checking the player, like checking them when they like don't watch it because Ernie is as informative as it
Yeah.
comes.
I don't know. I still think that they're both very. It's a very funny show. So that clip, I was very happy to have that on the audio. I tweeted this out last night, and then I got even more upset. So, Dukes, what is the game for championship week that you're already excited for? I said Grand Canyon, Tarleton State, and then had to be informed because of the stupidest rule in America. Tarleton State is not going to be eligible for the WAC championship.
Yeah,
Now, it gets even more confusing if they even let them play in the conference tournament. They've done that before. That's fucking asinine. Where they can win it and they give it back to somebody else, that's stupid. Don't let them. It's a dumb rule, but at this point, don't let them play in the conference championship game. It's very dumb. But that game would have been, in my eyes, the crown jewel of the championship week. I wrote a few down. What are some other ones that are kind of jumping out to you?
Dayton, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm biased.
Yeah, I mean, the
for sure.
A10 is.
If you want to talk about the
you
most-
know about the A10 though.
Yeah, I am intrigued for that conference tournament. That's more of like just a joke, but I think besides that, bias aside, I'm very excited for the Big East. I think there's some
Yeah,
potential.
I'm saying outside of the Big Six.
Okay.
I think St. Patrick's Day, Cornell, Princeton, and
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Ivy could be intriguing.
Well, the Ivy is my favorite tournament to like. I think there's 3 teams right there that can win games in March.
Yeah.
I think Cornell, I think Princeton, I think Yale is really good. I think all 3 of those teams can make the tournament and win games.
I think Akron, Toledo is a good one.
Yeah.
In the
always.
MAC?
I think the MAC's always an intriguing conference.
Mid-East, I don't really know too much about. The Missouri Valley might be the crown jewel as well. So Bradley beat – who did Bradley beat? Oh,
Bradley's
Bradley
good.
beat Utah State. Bradley has a good win too. But Indiana State, Drake being the first Sunday while they're like on the last day of the regular season, and that's their tournament, that's a home run as well. And I also think – I mean, you're talking about these could be the quarters for the Mountain West. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Utah State against Fresno State, which is not that great. Boise, Wyoming, Colorado State, San Diego State, Nevada. Well, I'm sorry. I'll go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Nevada, UNLV, New Mexico against San Diego State, Colorado State against Boise State, and Wyoming against Utah State as the potential Mountain West quarters. You got Nevada against UNLV, and you got New Mexico against San Diego State in the quarters. That's a better league than people are giving it credit for.
Mountain West?
Mountain West.
I think people are giving. You don't think that this is not?
No, they're definitely getting credit, but like that is, that's a loaded quarterfinal type game.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
I think the Mountain West will get fucked. Like New Mexico is great, and I don't know if they'll even make the tournament.
I know. That's kind of where they took 6 losses in the in that side. Pac-12 is a little underwhelming. I'm excited to see Colgate as well. I think the SEC has 1, 2, 3, 4. Top 6 teams in the SEC are ranked right now, and you could put Mississippi State like on the bubble of being ranked as well because they're a damn good team too. So those quarters are loaded. There's Samford, UNC Greensboro.
Yes.
As well. McNeese State against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. That was that amazing comeback. Now McNeese is 14-1 in that conference, but we got a lot. North Dakota State, South Dakota State out of the Summit. The Sun Belt has some good teams, obviously. It's just we are in a. This is when you can really get knowledge of the teams, and then when you should be trying to watch throughout the tournament. I think you get just as much from. I know everybody loves watching the championship games. Try to watch the quarters. Try to watch the semis. Watch them play as they go all the way through. With their back on the line, each game.
I think some weird ones out there. I'm looking at just conference-wise in general, just who I think. AAC, not that wild, but I think that's an intriguing one because I think SMU's a good team.
Those top 6 are all interchangeable.
But FAU has the chance to play themselves out of the tournament also because if they lose that first-round game to like a team that's that probably puts them on the wrong side of the bubble.
They're still third. They're third in the AAC. FAU.
Yeah, but the AAC sucks.
Yep.
You think so?
It sucks. I mean, what are we
talking about? The top 6 has a bunch of pesky teams. All right, so it's USF, Charlotte, FAU, SMU, UAB, Memphis. Those are not
Memphis sucks.
They have such talent, though. They have such talent.
You were so obsessed with Memphis, and I was harping on
2 years ago, everybody was when they had
for sure
Duran and Amani Bates.
No, but I don't even know if you'll remember this, but when conference play started, I was like, Memphis isn't good. They're very vulnerable.
I don't know if I love the coach either.
Yeah, and I was like, once Caleb Mills got hurt, I was like, I'm out on Memphis. I loved them before the year. I think Caleb Mills' injury was so crucial that doesn't get talked about enough. But Memphis sucks at this point. South Florida, yeah, they're good, but again, metrics don't like them. It's not like they had
they're not even anywhere near the bubble.
Right, and then here's where I'll say North Texas I think is good, but you have to be a real college basketball head to be North Texas is good.
Agreed.
You know, it's not like they're a tournament team. You'd have to it's. At this point, the AAC, there's so many landmines to have bad losses and a few good opportunities to have good wins. So it's tough. But going on, I love the American East Conference. I think UMass Lowell is pretty good.
Are they eligible now, too?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, so getting back to that Tarleton State, touch on save yours for that. But the rule with Tarleton State, they're 21-7 overall. They're 14-3 in the conference. They beat Grand Canyon, who's looking at, what, a 9 or 10 seed? Grand Canyon's the darling of the mid-majors. Why make them wait to get into the tournament? They're capable of being in the tournament. We've seen this a bunch of times. Is this the dumbest rule in sports?
Yes.
The 5-year rule? It's the dumbest thing in the world. I just don't get it. You're at a disadvantage when you jump up. Why would they make you wait to get into the tournament? It makes absolutely no sense. None.
And this was knowing the 5-year rule.
Yeah. I mean, I looked like an idiot too last night. Yeah,
I know. I think Tarleton State is. I'm with you.
Billy Gillespie's the coach.
Yeah,
you got a guy with experience. He's been around.
Yeah, you got a guy with a drinking problem, hits his players, and
just let them fucking play.
No, I'm
Grand
with you.
Canyon in that game.
I'm with you.
It's the goddamn worst.
And you know what happened last year? Actually, do you remember what happened last year with this 5-year rule?
Yeah, Bellarmine got in.
No.
2 years ago. Maybe
yeah, you're right about it. You are right, but think. One more guess.
I don't know.
FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson lost to Merrimack.
Yes.
And FDU had their run because of that stupid.
See, that was the point too. Why put Merrimack in that tournament? Sometimes they do that. That makes no sense because now you throw off so Tarleton's the 2. Tarleton shouldn't play in this tournament because if they're not eligible, then you're only screwing up the seeds. Now UT Arlington has to play them in the semis, whereas UT Arlington would have got Seattle instead. I don't know. Just the dumbest thing in the world I've ever seen. I'll give you one off the grid. I don't know if it's a home game. I kind of hope it is. Okay. I have a friend whose son goes there. Have you seen High Point and their atmosphere?
Yeah. Holy
shit, dude. That's they're dialed the fuck in down there. Is that a home game in the Big South?
Want me to look it up?
I also feel like this too. Hard take. The championship games being on Saturday should go away. So the Big West and the Southland and some of these and the MEAC and those championship games being on Saturday nights, move them during the week. Give us more championship games during the week. And I know that hurts because the Big East quarterfinals dominate Fox and the Big 12 gets ESPN and the SEC has their networks as well. So, like, it's hard to put championship games on because you want to put the quarters on the big networks. But maybe play them during the day. I don't know. But the championship, a lot of the championship games being on Saturday, I don't love.
It's at High Point,
The tournament?
the Big South.
The whole tournament?
Yep.
Is that that's how that conference works?
Yeah, it says tickets for the 2024 Hercules Tires. Nope, no free ads. Big South Basketball Championship is at High Point University are now on sale.
All right. So they get the whole
And
way
that
through.
that conference, like, look, you have. I think this is probably like a 3-man horse race from my eyes. I think High Point obviously is like the favorite, and then you have UNC Asheville. And you want to know it's a team that I personally, I don't know why I fucking love them. Probably because they played well against Dayton, but I think the coach had their players up for the game. I think they could like win some close games in this conference. Longwood, the Lancers, they were wagging against the spread. But that's a dark horse that I like.
Yeah. But I'm super excited. Like, let's start it. Start it now. Give me elimination games. Give me ESPN Plus clicking on all televisions. Give me YouTube TV and quad boxes. Just give me everything. I'm so amped for the way this is gonna run. And I want to write a blog. I had it started in terms of working it out. But why? So, like, that whole thing Dan talks about with football, where it's like the sandwich, and you have a bad game on a Thursday night, and people are like, well, you're not going to have many games, like in mid-December, like you got a bad Thursday night game. It's like, could you go Christmas shopping or skip this game? Like, I was one that too. Like, football's a long time. I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking skipping this game. But people are always like, no, enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. Football's almost over. Like, you're going to be sorry when it's gone. Why not the same for basketball? I know it doesn't move the needle, but, like, that's what I would tell people now. Like, cherish it. Like, basketball's going away in terms, like, college for a long time. April till fucking November is a long time. Enjoy this. Stay up late. Watch. It's only 3 weeks. If you want to be even a casual person, like, just stay up now. Enjoy it while you can. All these games, everyone's dialed the fuck in.
I couldn't agree more.
Everyone's dialed the fuck in.
And also, it's like, yeah, these players go on to play pros, but it's same as like college football, college basketball. Enjoy these moments where your team's playing, and these players with the transfer portal, especially, probably like might not be here 6 months from now.
Right.
Like, because it's as soon as the tournament ends, or as soon as you're eliminated, the portal season begins.
Yeah. Where else are you watching when you think about, like, so the NFL playoffs? Why the NFL playoffs great? Because it's elimination games. The only time you really get that, it's almost like a bonus. The NCAA tournament is the playoffs, but these are like, I would equate wild card playoffs, and they go for a week and a half straight. Every game is an elimination game.
Yeah, it's sick.
When you turn on any game, you're not going to be like, oh my God, look at St. Bonnie's, like they barely rolled out of bed. They don't care. Now that happens. Teams fold in. But for the most part, you are getting, even if they're down 12, you're watching that wild they're fighting for their life every single game, every single conference. You're watching championship games, win or go home in a one-bid league. Like, that's their life. Like, imagine if there was a conference in the NFL or a division in the NFL where, like, only one team forever is going to be guaranteed to make that playoff. Like, that's what you're looking for. So, I know I care about it. We're all nerds. We like, just love it and get romanticized about it. But, like, man, it's elimination games for now till fucking St. Patrick's Day. Like, tune the fuck in. Or now till April anyway. And you obviously have the tournament. But, like, this is when you can get a look on some of this. This is when some of the better stories come out. It always seems like somebody transferred or stuck around through the coach, or somebody's dad died and he hits a buzzer beat. Like, this is when you get the feel. Everything is an elimination game.
This is when Rico Bosco becomes Rico Bosco. You love these, like, these stories are what kind of made you. Like the RJ Hunter shit, I'm sure you probably loved.
He fucked me. I had Baylor that day.
Okay. And one more tournament I just wanted to talk to you about really quick. This is the one I'm most excited for. It's like CAA. Yeah. I think the CAA, every single year has like a top dog that ends up not winning. And I know you love Charleston. I know you hate Hofstra, but you got Charleston, Hofstra, Drexel, UNCW.
I was impressed with that Drexel team. They beat Charleston last year at the buzzer in a game I went to. Yes. I was interviewing Kelsey, so I wanted to watch him in person, and it was drivable. Drexel, kind of a cool gym too, to a degree. Horrible parking, but kind of a cool gym.
I forget they had someone
put me right on the court with the credential.
Yeah,
wasn't bad.
And then there's one more conference that I'm always also excited for, Horizon League.
The Horizon is something.
Yeah, like you got. It's always in a rinky-dink ESP. It's always on like ESPN.
No, what they do is the quarters go at the same time
Yes.
at sites.
Yes.
There was one last year I did the whole quad. It was berserk. It was double overtime. There was a triple overtime. They put a 7-footer kid in to get a deflection at the end of a game. There was comebacks. That was crazy a couple of years ago. Crazy.
And like I forget what there, but you have teams like Oakland, Youngstown State, Green Bay, Wright State, Northern Kentucky.
I like Youngstown State.
Yeah, I like Youngstown a lot. I like Oakland.
Don't sleep on Cleveland State. That team's got real shooters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I don't know.
You're such a dick, Phil.
But yeah, I think I like Oakland. I like Youngstown State.
Yeah.
Oakland's got some shooters.
Oakland still plays at the ridiculous pace.
Yeah, and I mean they've had the same coach for 35 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Horizon I think is the MAC of that conference. Duke, so I touched on this with Fanta. I guess we'll kind of expand on it with you. What is your full list of teams who can win the title? And we can kind of go down the checkpoint of
I'll
each
pull
one.
up Ken Palm.
That's the list I'm going off of.
Or do you want me to pull up national championship odds?
Well, I think we cross-reference them. So I'm going to say Houston, Purdue, UConn. Are you in on Arizona?
I'm not. I think they're Final Four good. I can't see them cutting down the banners. When I close my eyes, I can't see them cutting down the banner. But I think they're very.
I'll probably still put them on there just for the straight talent. I think Lloyd might be one to break through. I think I had Tennessee off. I'm going to put Tennessee on. Dalton Connect is a guy who can carry it. I'm going to put Auburn. I'm going to put Bama for my own. I am not putting on Duke, but I am putting on Carolina. Where do you vary in terms of those top? And then Iowa State. You know what? Because they play in the Big 12. I don't think they will. They'll probably be my last team on the list, but I will say Iowa State. And maybe I could cross them off. How many are you crossing off of the top 10?
I'm crossing off Iowa State. I'm crossing off Duke. I'm crossing off Bama. I'm crossing off Auburn. I'm crossing off Arizona, and I'm crossing off Purdue.
So you have nobody really in the top 10.
I don't really have.
Why so many being crossed off?
We're talking national championship, not Final Four. Do I think Purdue can make the Final Four? Yes, but then I'm basically saying like you have to play UConn or Houston or Tennessee, and I think that I like Purdue. I think I like all those teams over Purdue. I think Purdue's really good. I think they'll make a run. I think they'll show that they're for real. But I can't. I think there's too much chatter. I hate chatter. I hate when there's all this chatter about being like, oh, they're going to do what Virginia did last year. You know, go from getting knocked out the first round to then making a championship run. Think they're really good. I think their guards got more experience, but I just can't see them winning a championship. I think North Carolina's legit. I think Iowa State is just a really good fucking team. Can't see Duke. Bama's defense is too sloppy. Auburn, it's not even like, I know that's all neutral courts, but Auburn just not at home. Hasn't been anything too special in my eyes. So I can't really see them getting it done for, 5-6 games.
What about Marquette?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Creighton.
it's a shame because I love Kolick, and I think that's and they're really, really good. It's Cam Jones, right? Is their second guy?
Yeah. And they got ISO, Igor DeBordo or whatever.
Yeah, I like Marquette. I just don't buy Shock. Like, Shaka's history in the tournament, he's been to one second weekend. It was his Final Four.
Dark horse?
Well, no, I'm going through. I do think Creighton can do it,
Okay.
even though they have liabilities on the floor in terms of some of their guards. I don't think Illinois can do it. You look at that defense, that's a bad defense, and I just don't buy the Big Ten outside of Purdue. Baylor, I do. I think Baylor is very much a sleeper. I'm in love with Baylor. BYU, no. I think it's just one of those. I've heard this term before. I think Titus said it, the confetti, like the confetti image. I don't see a bunch of Mormons hoisting the net, even as good as the Big 12 is. And they're also kind of a fake Big 12. Like, yes, they're holding their own in that conference, but they just got there. You know, they don't get that pedigree of like 4 or 5 years of banging their heads against it. Now, you could say the same about Houston because it's Houston's first year in the Big 12 too, correct?
Yeah,
but Houston has a 6-year gap of getting to 6-year run here of getting to Final Fours, Elite Eights. Like, they've been really good. I'm interested to see your opinion on this one. What about Kansas?
Can't. I'm not with Marty on this one. I think Kansas. I think they're top heavy. Mm-hmm. I don't think they pass the ball too much. I think they rely on like one-on-one situations too much, which can get you some tournament wins, but I don't think it can get you to cut down the nets.
I agree. I think they're a Sweet 16 team, and that's it.
They're really good, though. Like, still really good. And I love Harris, and I think Dickinson can deliver in that time if they get McCullough back.
The biggest like diss that I could get you is when you're looking at a bracket and you're like, which teams do I want on like the 3 line, the 2 line? Kansas is a team that I'm eyeing.
Yeah. I think the depth. I'm kind of hoping Bama draws them. Is that a good draw for Bama?
No.
Sean is saying no because
he
he thinks Dickinson can cook them. But if they get in foul trouble, they're holding 7 guys in their rotation, if that.
Who's Dickinson in foul trouble? The only way you're saying Dickinson in foul trouble.
Dickinson can get Bama in foul trouble. Dickinson can cook them on the inside.
And then what? Then you get Nelson out.
But it just in general, if you get Kansas in foul trouble, they have no depth. No depth.
None. I'm with you, but also I think in that matchup, it's like how would Kansas get in foul trouble?
Rim touches. I don't know. Yeah, just in transition.
Yeah.
Fouls are getting beat. I don't really know. I mean, Bama does a good job of getting to the line. This one's confusing. So Gonzaga, I'm gonna cross Kansas off, even though it's self. I am putting Kentucky on. Scroll up a little bit. So Gonzaga is the last 4 in. And, again, you watched them last night. They dismantled a good San Francisco team. And Gonzaga, for a while, it was like, can they make the tournament? Pull up Gonzaga's resume. They're still like the last 4 in, but if they're ranked. So, like, what are they going to be? If you're ranked, you're probably an 8 seed. Like, but now their last 4 in, they're going to have to play in as an 11? What are we talking about? I can't really make up what to make of Gonzaga. Washington's not a great loss. Connecticut's a tough loss. San Diego State's a tough loss. And Santa Clara is the bad one. And then they lost to St. Mary's by 2. Is this really that? Did we overreact? Now, not a lot of great wins. I'll be honest with that. Syracuse, not great. UCLA, not great. USC, not great. But of their real, like, what are their marquee games? It was Purdue. Supposed to be UCLA. I still kind of count that because whatever. Washington, Connecticut, and San Diego State. So they went 1-4 in that frame. Like, yeah, it's not good, but you could say the same about Bama. Bama lost to some elite teams too, and Bama's flirting with a 3 line.
I like Gonzaga.
I like Gonzaga as well too.
Look, you have one of their.
Did we overreact with them?
Yeah, one of their premier freshmen is also out for this year. I can't think of his name right now, but you talk about
zoom out of that. Also, what do you make of their seed? What's going to be with their seed? They're going to be an 11 or a 12 playing in, but they're ranked.
If Dayton's a 6 and they play Gonzaga, I would be furious. Furious. You're telling me this would be also the second tournament in a row that we made, like 2017, where Dayton, as a 7 seed, played Wichita State with Landry Shamet, and they were 8th overall in Ken Palm.
Yeah.
Like that would be all. But like, yeah, I think Gonzaga is a Final Four team good.
So do I.
I think St. Mary's or Gonzaga, and I think it's one of those teams, Gonzaga. You're not thinking about them. You're not like saying like, hey, you got to get up for this game. I think that's a bad match.
You think they're better without the pressure?
Yeah. I mean, I fucking love Gonzaga. I love watching Gonzaga ball. Do you? Like, I
love Ike. He was a guy I fell in love with at Wyoming. Great footwork. He can dominate inside. You look at his stat line last night. He went berserk. I like Gonzaga. And again, we're in a phase where guys break through. Like, do I think Few is probably going to win a title? I don't really know, but I do know he's knocking on the door every single year.
As long as Mark Few gives the keys to someone on a team, that's good.
I think like Anton Watson's so good. Like Nembhard, the point guard. Ben Gregg's really efficient.
Yeah, they're good. Rounding out the rest of that list, I think the top 25 there starts to get like dicey. So, is Kentucky on your list?
Final Four, not championship.
Is San Diego State on your list?
Yes.
Is St. Mary's on your list?
No. I think San Diego State, though.
I think St. Mary's could fuck around.
I think they could fuck around. We're on the same page with that. We're talking just. I actually think San Diego State.
I think St. Mary's is going to be a victim of a bad seed. Like I think they're better. They're going to be a 6, which is not great.
You're going to get the 11.
You're going to get a good 3.
The
I mean, they could get Bama.
Weird.
Yeah, the 11 line's bad too. Michigan State, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Wake Forest, no. Wisconsin, no. Clemson, no. Dayton, maybe, just for your sake. But it's going to take a lot for them to win 6 games at an elite level. Texas, no. We're talking about this is Texas at 26 on Ken Palm. Mississippi State, 26. I think this is the year. Like, there's a lot of teams in the mix, but we should maybe cut this list down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 13 teams on this list. Maybe I should be crossing off more.
I think you have to be. Mm-hmm. I think that the past couple of years, it's just like, it's wide open. Is it wide open? Probably not. It's probably just going to be.
I think it's one of those years where if the seeds, I think it's a dream second round games. And I always think the worst round is the second round because I think you come off that high of the first 2 days, But I actually think the second round this year is the moneymaker.
I think
we're going to be in for some unbelievable second round game. Pull up a current bracket or pull up bracket matrix.
But
give me like the 4-5s in the second round or the 6-3s.
I will, but I think
even the 7-2s.
I think that with this year too, when people say it's wide open, I think it's more wide open for a Final Four team, not for a national championship. Does that make sense? Like I think it's more like last year comparable to that.
Oh yeah, well when you fill your line of Final Fours, I think you have to start with somebody 6 line or 7 line above. That's just the way it goes in the past couple of years. There's been an 11, there's been a 9, there's been an 8. It's just kind of the way it goes. Phil, anybody on the back end?
No callers, but if you want to call in, 888-786-6522.
6522.
This is really quick, Bosco. This is.
I can't believe Villanova. What is Villanova holding their resume on?
They kicked the shit out of some pretty good teams. They have some bad losses, but they kicked the shit out of some pretty good teams.
I was surprised to see Villanova in the mix like that.
Well, they made Danny Hurley make that hype video.
They
did beat Carolina.
They beat Maryland. They beat Texas Tech. They beat UNC. They beat Memphis.
Drexel's not a great loss.
Drexel's a
St.
bad
Joe's
loss.
is turning into a bad loss.
Bad loss.
Kansas State that's going to help Kansas State. They beat Creighton
on the road.
Okay.
They beat
what else?
Xavier. They beat Providence. They beat Seton Hall.
Scroll up. Yeah, it's not a bad. Oh,
they went through a bad stretch, but
5 in a row.
So Villanova is one of my teams, dark horse for the Final Four that I picked.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
What excites you about them?
I think they're kind of evenly balanced. Their defense is really good. I think they got veteran players. They got Dixon. I love Tyler Burton.
They shoot the 3 well.
Yeah,
Phil, they shoot 33%. It's 198th in the country in 3.
That's well.
Whatever you say.
I think they're one of those teams that's playing good ball of late. I don't know. I close my eyes and I can see them making a run. They're with Gonzaga on that 11 line. I would not want to see them.
Yeah. All right, give me some of the second round matchups then to a degree, or what's out of it. So all right, so let's look at the bubble in general. Last 4 buys: FAU in safely, Nevada, Wake, Virginia. Last 4 in New Mexico, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, Providence. So Gonzaga's ranked. I'm obsessed with this. Gonzaga's ranked, and we're talking about them playing in. Is that fair?
Narratives for the AP poll. I mean, you just see Gonzaga with that record. Half the people with half a brain will
So
just put them on the line.
But it's got to be one or the other. Then they can't be ranked. Then they can't be. They shouldn't be on people's polls. Do you get that?
Yeah.
If you're gonna play in, you can't be ranked.
All right, but also you just have to. The AP poll means nothing. The AP poll is the stupidest fucking thing.
Well, they're also in the coaches poll too. They're ranked.
Well, yeah, I think the coaches know that they're a top 25 team, but the AP poll voters just see Gonzaga with this record and they're like, okay, we're just gonna put them in.
Yeah, it's
the AP poll voters do the coaches poll. The coaches poll I trust way more than the AP.
First 4 out: Villanova, Utah, Colorado, St. All right, so St. John's is moving up that list. I'd love to.
Oh, this would be so good.
I'd love to see
St. John's.
All right, so let me ask you this: the last 4 in. What happens if it's Seton Hall, Providence, and St. John's? You can't have them play each other in a play-in in the conference. What are they going to do? Do teams who are on the 10 line have to play? Do teams on the 12 line then have to do on the play-in?
They'd move someone.
Can we get Lenardi on the phone with that? What's going to happen if those 3 are? Or I'll give you even one crazier. What if it's Villanova, Seton Hall, Providence, and St. John's? Clear cut as the last 4 in. Then what happens?
Well, it won't be because Villanova plays Providence tomorrow. That team's basically whoever wins that's in
But you could work your way back in, and Virginia could have a bad loss and play themselves out. New Mexico is playing their way out. I think Gonzaga's moving up. You could 100% have 4 Big East teams on that last line. 100%. Well, then what do?
They put Utah in for Seton Hall or something.
They can't. No, I mean
Seton Hall gets fucked.
I think you should put the teams in, but they can't play. There's a rule you can't meet until the Sweet 16 in conference.
I don't know. I don't think they'll put in four Big East teams as the last 4 in. I think somebody gets bumped around on the 10 line.
I'll tell you what. If they can run something together, and maybe and it's not just because I'm front, Iowa's putting something together. They're very pesky. Cricky, Dix, they're playing really well out there. Sanford, McCaffrey's taking a little bit of a roll down in terms of scoring. I think Iowa's super pesky out in the Big Ten. Kansas State, Tyler, I know maybe it's a little bit of recency bias. Tyler Perry is a guy who could take over a week. Do not be surprised if Kansas State makes a run in the Big 12. I got to get my eyes on Colorado a little bit more. I do think Dave hates Utah, but Utah's got a good big. I kind of like Utah. Texas A&M plays in a loaded conference. They should get the benefit of the doubt. Ole Miss has Beard. That's a name. They should get the benefit of the doubt.
No, they shouldn't.
But give me
that non-conference fucking blew.
What do you think about Iowa and Kansas State making runs in both those tournaments? I think Tyler Perry's a guy who could take over a week.
I think Iowa will. I think the Big 12's too good.
Yeah, it's just too hard to get through that many games. All right, so give me some of those second-round matchups.
Can you close your eyes and seeing them get by that Houston defense?
No. I don't know if anybody can get by Houston.
Can we just pause for a second and let's
Sure.
just talk about Houston and
Well, you know Bama's offense is the second-rated in history of KenPom, right? Like the highest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like one of those things, Bosco, where it's like you look at the Golden State Warriors' historic season and you look at it like compared to today's day and age of like NBA basketball, they'd be ranked like 15th.
Yeah.
Like efficiency.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
such a
based
wild
off of
stat.
of possessions, though.
Yeah, I know.
So
So
just because
is the
Bama
NBA's.
has 100 possessions in 12 minutes, Virginia, you're still basing the efficiency off of 100 possessions. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get that.
I know. Same with
You
the
know what I
Warriors.
mean?
Same with the Warriors.
Yeah.
But Houston, we were so right about that.
Yeah, he's wrong. Marty was wrong, dead wrong on that. He
People
tried to
freaked-
bury Houston. He's like, they're going to take – it's better for them to take losses. And if you look, how many losses they have now? 4 or 3?
3, I think.
And Kansas is still on the 3 line, and they took 7 losses. So he's got to eat that. He was dead wrong on that. It just was.
And even that
He didn't
Kansas
understand
loss,
how the big conferences get the benefit of the doubt by playing those tough slates. Phil, I got 2 ringing. You picking them up?
Let me update this.
they're projected to beat Kansas at home by 11.
Yeah, I mean they're my pick. I love UConn. They're my pick of the top 3 to win the title.
Me too.
And no matter what, you're never gonna get them in a money line plus 600 or 700, whatever they're at right now. No one will ever be that big of a favorite against Houston, ever. Where's the regional this year? Is it by them? Is it Texas in the home state? Again, they fucked up last year because they should have made that Final Four. It would have been in their fucking hometown, in their backyard.
Yeah, Houston has Dallas, so they're playing Memphis.
Yeah, they go Memphis and then what? Dallas for a regional? Yeah, it's a home run. They might be the 1 overall seed. I think UConn could be there too. But
Dayton and Pittsburgh would be money. I'd take this in a heartbeat. That's a home game.
you don't want Dayton and Brooklyn?
I'll take Dayton and Brooklyn, but Dayton and Pittsburgh is a home game.
Yeah,
It's all my friends are from Pittsburgh.
It would be.
South Florida. We beat them by 30.
it would be. Pull up those second round matchups,
I can't. What do you mean?
like on bracketology.
It's right here. Which side do you want to look at?
I mean, we'll go through both. What do you got?
All right, so you have Purdue in the next round would play Oklahoma, Colorado State.
Can I see it?
Oh shit! Sorry, I'm
It's
looking
all
at. I'm looking on the preview
All
screen.
right, it's fine. All right, so Purdue, Oklahoma, Colorado State is like a C level excitement. Damn, Clemson's still a fucking 5? Clemson, Auburn, okay. But like South Carolina, Kansas, or South Carolina, Gonzaga in that second round is awesome. That, like, South Carolina is better than people think. That's really good.
Dude,
Scroll up.
This really
I'm-
quick.
I'm-
This also has upset frenzy in my opinion.
100%. There's a million upsets that could happen. But if the seeds hold, I'm very excited for what I think the second round. Because I think, like you said, there's 30. We went through 32 teams on KenPom. I don't know if they're all good, but I know they're all in the mix in that dance.
You're telling me, like, even I was just hyping up Gonzaga, but like, Cornell can make like in this hypothetical, like Cornell, I might put in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Out of the Ivy. Indianapolis. All right. Boise State Marquette. Like, Boise's fucking good, man. Boise's good. That's like, and that's a team I feel like people don't know enough about. Wake has also beaten Duke. That's a great second round matchup.
Wake, I think, is really fucking good. Wake's a dark horse to make a run for me.
Give me the West. Arizona, Northwestern, TCU. All right, I'll give TCU as a little bit of a sleeper. And that also, they say they don't know what they're talking about, or they like, oh, it's coincidence. That second round game a couple years ago with TCU when they gave Arizona everything they could fucking handle. We get a rematch of that again this year? That sounds like a treat. TCU is 19-9 or whatever they are. Jamie Dixon's been around. He's definitely good. I worry about them scoring the ball for a period of time, but we've had those calls. Good guards. TCU's like, I like TCU sleeper-wise.
I like TCU sleeper-wise, too.
And that's no cakewalk for Arizona coming out of that.
But you're also not even talking, like, Northwestern could easily beat TCU, and you want to talk about a fucking game changer? Boo Booey could take over March.
Agreed. Yeah, I wasn't even talking about Northwestern, but yeah, the 8-9s are.
Well, you were saying we're going by higher seeds until fucking TCU showed up.
Agreed. Well, I mean, 8-9 is interchangeable.
I need to keep you on track, Bosco.
8-9 is interchangeable. Grand Canyon BYU sounds like a delight. Delight.
So we'll put Grand Canyon in the next round for this one.
Wasn't UC Irvine the team Fanta gave us? He said keep an eye on them.
Yeah, UC Irvine.
I think San Diego State is battle tested enough, but now you're talking about San Diego State BYU in an old rivalry game, weren't they in the same conference?
Yes.
Was BYU ever in the Mountain West? Am I crazy with that? Or were they in the WAC? No, I feel like he was in the Mountain West, right?
Mountain West to the WCC.
Yeah, Mountain West to the WCC. So BYU, that's a great game there, especially if you don't get the upsets.
Yes, because Kawhi played Jimmer.
Yeah, Wisconsin. I don't know how they're still a 6
because they just
the way
don't
they're
have,
slipping.
Because they have really good wins.
And the Big Ten, the Big Ten gets the benefit of the doubt.
They're locked. They're not going. Like,
that would be hell. That would be hell for me to have Wisconsin in the second round as with Bama. Akron is no cakewalk in that 14 matchup. They like to get out and run. New Mexico's really good. Seton Hall runs their shit. Maybe they slow that game down. But that's a great second-round matchup, whoever comes out of that against Bama. Utah State, Iowa State, really good. Slow-down thing. You got Osabor in there, Brown at the guard. I like Iowa State. Otzelberger seems like he's breaking through. That's a dream. Like these, look at these second-round matchups, and I don't know how you're not getting excited about it.
I know. I'm really excited about Virginia, Iowa State. I think that's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, Virginia might crack 30.
Oh, you know what, though? You're playing it up because you're making fun of Utah State.
No.
But Virginia, Iowa State would be.
I know.
What would be the total? 97?
Dude, that may be too high.
That's a lot. Especially after a delay. Imagine if they're sitting in the tunnel longer, like stiff legs. That game will be a nightmare.
That was a double whammy for me because I was like, it actually will be it would just be a rock fight.
It would be a literal rock fight. And Iowa State played in some dog fights last year. Lost to Pitt in the first round.
The halftime score might be like 12-8.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything. This is kind of a bad match. Or I know UConn beat Texas, correct?
Yeah, but they kind of
in New York City.
They were beating the shit out of Texas, and then Texas kind of fought back a little bit, and then UConn just ran away with it at the end again.
But if you're Hurley, you don't love Izzo sitting there in the second round potentially. And you don't love Texas sitting there in the second round as a team who was top 25. That's a great matchup, too. In Brooklyn, Barclays, that's a fucking home run. Washington State is a team I'm going to fade. Kyle Smith's never been to the tournament. So I'm fading Washington State, especially if they hit. Now, it's hard. They're going to be in Spokane, home game, state-wise. But I kind of love Kentucky's draw out of there. I also don't like Vermont.
I like Vermont. I think Vermont could beat Kentucky. And that would just send Kentucky Twitter into a friend. Dude, Vermont, I've watched them a bunch this year. I mean, they're the same offense every fucking year, but, like, they are good.
Yeah.
And they've done well for me this year. I think that Kentucky's defense fucking blows. They went to overtime with St. Joe's. I think Vermont in that situation.
Fucking score, though. St. Mary's Indiana State
True.
is just orgasmic. Give me that game. I like Baylor's draw there because I do still think Baylor is more athletic than all those teams. It's tough going out west. High Point we saw can get up and go. They got a good scorer. They got a good coach in Gillespie. Give me the 7.
Also, really quick.
Because who's the 2 in this draw? Because Florida.
Where?
Florida's a fucking hard out, man.
Yeah.
Florida's fucking hard out. And Florida Atlantic's going to give everything. They're good. I kind of love Florida coming out of there.
I like FAU in that game.
But Florida, Carolina in a second-round matchup, or FAU, like Final Four against Carolina, like that's a big deal too. Give me the South. We'll round it out. All right, Houston, Mississippi State. That's That's a similar style.
I think Mississippi State. That's a bad matchup for you.
Yeah, that'll
be
not
like a
great.
Yeah,
It's not great. It's going to be ugly. Illinois, Duke.
upset worthies right there.
Oh, yeah. McNeese State and Samford, 100%. You could have the 12 and 13 in that. But Illinois, Duke is a good one as well. Give me the – I love South Florida. I know it's Dayton, man. I love South Florida there.
Yeah, I think Dayton would kick the shit out of South Florida, to be honest.
Charleston wants to shoot the 3 against Creighton. Set that over at $1 million. Dayton, Creighton, and Pittsburgh is a good draw. And then Texas Tech or Nevada against Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. I
love Dayton coming
I know,
out of that.
like, we went through a whole bracket, and it's all going to change. It's all going to change. But, like, there are 32 good teams, and I think if you get a lot of these in the second round, it's going to be a treat. I'm the guy who doesn't love the second round of all the rounds. I love the first round the most. I love getting back on 3 days rest and coming in for the Sweet 16 on a Thursday and Friday when it's like nice out, big time bar night, and you obviously love the Final Four. I think the second round kind of gets lost in the mix. I would say if I was ranking my favorite rounds, it's the first 2 days, the Sweet 16, the Final Four, the second round, and then the Elite Eight. Because I think the Elite Eight is like one of those where you start to get depressed, where you're like, ah, shit, like, and it's only 2 games. A lot of times you get it around Easter. Maybe we're not streaming. There's different shit. I've done that before too. You know what I mean?
That last game on a Sunday where you're just like, that's when you really start getting depressed. Like, damn, I'm not gonna have this anymore. You just gotta savor it.
So the second round I think is slept on, but this is gonna be a good one.
What do you think about tournament being expanded? There's been a lot of talk.
Yeah, I
about
saw Lenardi trying to go to 80. I mean,
No.
like, pull back up those teams. Like, not all those teams should get in. So now we're gonna put what would we put in? Like all 8 of those? Who are the next 4 out after the next 4 out? Who's like considered? That's like an ugly, like, you had 25, 26 games to show your way, and I know that it's not helping that these teams who get in the first 4 have made Final Four runs, but like, I think we should judge it more on a 30 game season. Like, you didn't do enough in 30 games to get to the dance. Just because, yes, you can electrify somebody in 2 games in the dance, you didn't deserve to be there. You know?
So I think that
80's way too many.
I disagree. I'm actually.
If you want to go 68, well, where are we at? We're at 68.
Yes.
If you wanted to go, what would it be? 72? And have all the 11s play in? I don't know if I love that.
See, I don't like 72 because then you're just going to say like the next 4 like big schools. Where the big conferences either are going to disband from the NCAA tournament. There's going to be no mid majors, or we have to expand to 80.
I don't know.
The mid majors don't have enough like credit where they're playing like good tough schedules conferences. They don't have enough opportunities and like some of these like Cincinnati's and stuff. I don't know. I heard the argument for expansion. I'm kind of on it because I like mid majors playing like spoiler to the big conferences, and I don't think that's going to be possible.
I do think the mid like Drake and Indiana State should both safely be in.
Right, but that's not going to be
and they're not going to happen.
That's not going to be possible unless you expand. Which like that's what I'm saying. Like, and honestly, 80 just sounds like a lot, but 12 more teams, like.
What do you think about you have to finish above 500 in your conference?
Fuck yeah, I'm down for that.
In a big conference.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I agree with that. But also, yeah, it'll be tough maybe with the expansion. I don't know what the numbers will look like.
Yeah.
If you keep expanding, then you'll just keep waiting for the next expansion.
Yeah, that's the slippery slope I'm worried about.
I don't know. I just think it's
slope. I just think it's perfect.
I agree.
Because I still don't really get excited about the play. I know we have those games on Tuesday night and Wednesday night, but like there are a lot of years where I'm either doing prep or like it's kind of like background noise in the playing. Plus the 16 games, aside from FDU last year when that. You don't really get excited about the 16s.
Yeah, and if you're craving watching those teams, the NIT has some good ball, the CBI has some good ball.
I think it is perfect right now, but I think in the past couple of years it's been imperfect.
So
the tournament in general?
Like, yes, I think that right now we're leaning towards just letting in a bunch of these like bigger schools just based off names and based off who they play in conference play. And I think that it's doing and obviously I'm going to stick up for the mid-majors. I think it's doing a disadvantage to mid-major teams that are probably better when you play on the court against some of these high-level opponents. That's kind of where I stand.
Well, again, it goes back to my point of the non-conference games. Like some of these bubble games in the middle of February, New Mexico should be able to go play Providence. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Like they should have data. They should have head-to-head things. I don't know where you can have the event. I don't know what benefit that would have to people. But like, just let them play each other. Let's see it.
You think I'm joking when I say this? Like, now I hope you guys are like starting to understand, like Meek, like for like that. When I said like in November that this was the most important week for Dayton to play, like if you lose, like I think it's proven like Dayton's a good team now. You know, like losses, like they had a couple losses, but like they're a good team. And if they lose 2 of those games to St. John's or like to LSU, they might not even be considered right now to make the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could lose tonight and then next week and be in serious trouble too, correct?
Us?
Yeah.
We're tournament locks.
You're a lock for sure?
Yeah.
You're just saying those games are important. You lost them both, and now you're a lock?
Wait, we won.
If you lose these next 2, you still think you're a lock?
I know we're a lock. Everyone has us as a lock. You're not a bracketologist.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But, all right, so then this is the question I would ask that. Gonzaga's ranked, and you're ranked. Gonzaga's playing in. You don't think with 2 more losses you would fall to
We don't have, like...
playing in?
If we lost tonight, it would be a Q2 loss. Then we played, like, St. Louis, it would be a Q4 loss. Or a Q3 loss. That would be our first Q3, Q4 loss. And then we like play VCU. And then what, that's like a Q2,
I'm just fascinated with the fact that Gonzaga's ranked and playing in.
We don't have a bad loss.
Yeah.
We don't have any bad losses.
I have a question.
So like we could afford 1 or 2 and still make the tournament.
I have a question for you two. How old were you when you found out what NIT stood for?
Probably 13, maybe.
Yeah, probably 10 when we cut down the nets.
Yeah, but you say you couldn't have been invested in.
My dad went to Dayton.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know you were invested like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I was at the game, my first tournament game.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You would think. I mean, I'm planning on for the first 4 days.
Cutting down the fucking nets against Tyler Zeller and the North Carolina Tar Heels coming out for national championship.
For the first 4 days, I'm planning on having a big bag, and when my guys are playing, changing into the merch. Dayton,
a big bag. You sound like Smacky Jables.
I'd love to root for Dayton. I'd love to support Dayton.
I don't think you do though. Yeah. I think you're just a lot of talk about Dayton and how
Anthony Grant, open invite. Bosco on 1.
You could make the argument the best man in college basketball.
Are we seeing any claps this year?
Yeah, we are.
No, working on some different things. I mean, we're going to try and get some gym time for some teams in Brooklyn. We have those hooks. That's how I got the whole K-State thing. So we'll see. But
do you have any picks?
No, I think I'm back in the. We'll see. I don't know where. I think we'll be streaming, so I'm not going to be here for the different events. But the first round in Brooklyn is good, obviously.
Any picks tonight?
Yeah. Utah State first half -9.5. Hosting Air Force, so we touched on it. Air Force can very much get run out of the gym really quick. And I'm going to take Dayton -1. In Chicago.
Yeah, that's a Loyola Chicago line.
Yeah, but you keep saying they got to win, and you keep saying how big it was. And I like them in these tough spots. Give me Dayton.
Yeah, I actually that's. I know I always love Dayton, but I do love them in this trap spot. I'll lock them in
right now, actually.
Yale -19.5.
I don't know if I want to be laying
against
that many
Dartmouth.
in the fucking Ivy.
Dartmouth's too worried about fucking lawsuits and like the NIL shit. Give me them. I'll ride you on Utah State.
I'm telling you, Air Force, man, is just not around. I'll also give you this one. In the Patriot, Colgate. No. Loyola, Maryland.
Yeah.
Is down to like 7 guys.
I heard about this.
2 of them walk-ons.
Okay, I'm in.
So,
I got some.
Fade that as you want. I think Colgate's going to get checked out. I'm sorry, Loyola's going to get checked out. What do you got?
Iona -2.5 at home against.
Oh God, I have friends at a program in Iona. I can't get up. Every time I root for them or watch them on a Friday night when they win, they're getting run out of the gym.
Fuck it. You know what? Quinnipiac +2.5 then.
Oh, wait. They got Quinnipiac?
Yeah, they got Tom Pecora.
All right, we need Iona tonight. This is a big one. We need Iona.
I'm telling you.
Well, no, you know what? Actually, let Quinnipiac win all the games now that don't matter as long as they don't win the MAC. They cannot win the MAC.
I'm a Tom Pecora stan.
No, I'm not a Pecora stan.
I am.
No. He cannot make the day.
He got fucked by Fordham.
He fucked himself. He never made the day.
There were some players. He had some top-rated recruits come in, and then they just fired him. Like, and they all went to like different.
Whatever. He ain't making.
Can I say one thing about Friday night games? I swear to fucking God.
Ark State tonight with a good one against App State.
Yes.
They're gonna get a look against them in the quarters if they get there.
Every fucking time.
Louisiana's tough.
Every fucking time I look at like the DraftKings app or the Score app or whatever to check like the scores, these teams play on Friday nights. Quinnipiac, Iona, and Roder, Niagara. Those are the matchups every single fucking Friday night. Roder and Niagara have played 7 times this season.
Yeah, when I was doing the column, like the pick thing every Friday for on the blog when I first started getting in. Yeah, I think that's how I fell in love with Evansville.
Oh, dude,
Evansville
I love
fucking
Evansville.
shot the 3, defended and then I think that's what started the original tweet. They lost in the Missouri Valley Conference, and Dan was so like audibly laughing at great group of kids. When I was like, I was like in on that team so much. I loved them, loved that team. They gave me everything, and I was so invested in that Missouri Valley.
What about this? Where do you stand like, when we're talking tournaments and like, because people are going to come back on Monday, they're not going to want to talk about this shit. If you're in a mid-major conference and you just fucking wipe the floor, like you're Quinnipiac and you just wipe the floor with everybody
In the conference, if you win the conference by 5 games, yeah, I hate that.
and then you fucking lose the conference tournament, where do you stand on that? You think it should be the regular season?
I don't know, man. It's hard. I think maybe if you win the conference tournament if you win the conference by 5 games, you get a bye to the championship.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
Or like I guess buys to the semis are pretty good because then you only need to win 1 to get to the dance. Like I don't think you should, one. I say the dance like that game, the dance like the championship game, but I don't know. It's hard for me when a team wins a conference by 5 games to have to go play somebody in a quarterfinal matchup where somebody could get hurt or like I don't know. I think the mid-major 1-bid leagues are imperfect. They are. I think it's a very imperfect system. But it's going to be a hell of a theater. So, again, Utah State first half minus 9.5. Dayton minus the 1. That's what I'm on tonight. What are you on tonight, Dukes? Lock it in. You're going to take Iona?
I'll take Iona. Fine. I'll take Dayton. I fucking love. And I forget. And then Yale minus 19.5 against Dartmouth.
Okay.
I got Giannis not to make a 3 minus 130. And this game's in Chicago and starting at 10 o'clock Eastern. I don't know why we're starting a game 9 o'clock Central Time, an NBA game. It's on ESPN, but it just feels weird.
It's interesting.
This is my take. The NBA doesn't care about the Eastern Time zone.
So they got a 9 o'clock Friday night tip?
Yeah.
It's probably TV.
Yeah, it's on ESPN.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm not even kidding. It might be because like Roder and Niagara are playing on ESPN.
Let's
too.
get the guide. Get it up. We'll end the show with that. Get the guide. Who's playing on ESPN? How do I see it? How do I see the guide?
Should I look up?
Just go. Yeah, I guess like Google it. This is horrible radio, but
This is Francesa Radio. Just reading off all the games. ESPN Plus.
how do I see it? Spectrum?
Fairfield's on ESPNU at 7.
What's on regular ESPN?
9 o'clock ESPN2. Dayton and Loyola.
All right, hold on.
Wait, why did it stop it? Here it is. Wait.
NBA
it's not on
count.
NBA.
NBA.
Oh, is it 10?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's the Celtics. The Celtics play before at 7:30.
The Celtics play before. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what they.
Damn, that would have been so.
Oh, so you're on the
funny.
deuce tonight, huh, dude?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, A10 runs Friday nights.
You better hope women's gymnastics doesn't run late.
No, dude, that happened one time at a bar. Right? And I remember Max took Dayton with me last year, and we were like, "Can you put on ESPN too?" And it was like Dayton VCU, like first time around, and it was just women's gymnastics. Max was like, "Get the fucking gymnastics!"
Yeah, there's
off the
nothing
screen."
worse than like
When you have to ask again.
bull riding is on before you and shit like that.
But then you have to ask them to switch it once, and you
Yeah.
have to ask them to switch
Switch
it
it
again,
back.
and then you're the asshole.
Yeah, that's how it works. All right, that's Pick Central. Everybody have a good weekend. A lot to talk about. Enjoy game day in Tuscaloosa. It's March. We made it. Enjoy it. Home stretch here down the run.